as we wrap up the show, our last segment today, we're gonna reveal rankings or take a look at rankings over the next couple of weeks. And today we'll look at running backs and wide receivers, and we'll start with the top 10 of each position. And Harrison is our rankings guru here at Fantasy Football Fellowship. And if you become a member, you can get access to the full list of ranking information. And so, Harrison, if you will reveal your top 10 running backs, and then I will let you know where I disagree or a couple of the guys that jump out to me. So top 10 running backs. Here we go.
So number one, we got Jonathan Taylor. We already talked about him a few episodes ago that he is the number one guy. Number two, we got Christian McCaffrey. Coming in at 3 is Derrick Henry. 4 is Austin Eckler. And then rounding out the top 5, we have Dalvin Cook at number 5.
Okay, so I'm higher. I would take Austin Eckler before I took Derrick Henry. So I would differ there. I've got to see Henry healthy again, for sure. So, all right, go to 6.
So number 6, we got Joe Mixon. 7 is Najee Harris. 8 is Deandre Swift. Then we've got Javonte Williams at 9. And then number 10 is Leonard Fournette.
Ooh, top 10, Leonard Fournette. All right. So first off, we talked about last week, you're real in on the Lions. So I like DeAndre Swift. I think he's got the talent. I think he'll have a very nice season. I still buy into Harris and the Steelers. Mixon at 6 makes me nervous. He is an aging back. He has carried the workload season after season. Now, last year was nice because the offense was actually good around him. But I don't know if I could continue to trust him, especially that early. That makes me nervous with him. And like I said on the last episode too, I'm not as high on the Bengals this year. Sometimes those teams that burst out of nowhere, can they sustain it? I've got to see the sustained fantasy success. But the thing about Mixon, he's been awesome. Like, he's been a really good running back in fantasy. And for the most part, you've been able to get him at decent value over the years. He's been surprisingly good in many years, but with aging running backs at the higher end of the age, Landon will have to tell me how old he is, but 26 probably. I'm going to go a different direction than Mixon. But why do you have Leonard Fournette at number 10?
So one thing that I like a lot with Leonard Fournette is when you look at the top running backs, what gets to an RB1 finish? That's guys who score touchdowns and they get a lot of receptions. Leonard Fournette finished as the RB6 last year, and people were just writing him off for some reason this year. He's still in a Tom Brady-led offense. And now even Ronald Jones is gone. Gronk and Antonio Brown are gone. And Chris Godwin will be injured earlier on. He is the only sustained weapon really left in that offense besides Mike Evans. I think they're really going to lean on him. And he's a guy that I think has a clear path to getting 60 receptions, which is a really high mark for running backs, and then double-digit touchdowns as well. He is going to be the true workhorse for probably what will still be a top 10 offense in the NFL.
So this will be maybe a topic for another episode, but I'm out on the Bucs.
Interesting. Completely out, like not even playoff team, or
they'll be closer to average than greatness. I think the run is over. I think once you flirt with retirement, it's over. I think it's really hard to keep going. I know Brady is unique, and you should never doubt Tom Brady. I get all that, but from a fantasy perspective, the cost that it will be to get these guys, the rounds that you have to take, all these players that have been producing, the last few years with Tom Brady, especially, I'm not willing to go there. I'm just too hesitant with the Bucs. All right. So maybe I was a little dramatic on Joe Mixon. He's only 25. So he feels like he's been there forever and he's been just carrying that team. But I stand by what I said, but he's a little younger than I thought, I guess. But it looks like he's going 11th overall at a current ADP right now. So that's just still too early for me. So you seem to be along the lines of where the fantasy community is at the moment. I'll be a little further down. So there you go.